Yeah, it's
This
actually
is the
good.
best tang I've ever had in my life. They're finally...
We're on our train to Fuzhou.
I'm so nervous. I have no idea what to expect.
That's the most exciting part, right? You get to reconnect with your homeland.
Yeah. Well, like,
What are you most excited about?
whenever my family tells me about Fuzhou, they like only talk about like growing up in like a very poor village. They don't talk about like modernization of the city.
Do you think they feel like, I mean, left behind in a way? Like they're like, oh, I missed out on the development.
Yeah.
In a way? Yeah, like I don't get to enjoy it.
Right.
That, yeah,
Right.
maybe. It'll be exciting as well that, you know, we're all able to go back. Your family is all able to go back.
Alright, first meal in Fuzhou. Let's go!
As you can probably tell, I was so
Whoa.
excited. I have never had Fuzhounese
Oh my
food
God.
before in Fuzhou, and everything was just so overwhelming. We just got off the train, we're so hungry, so we're gonna have a feast.
We finally found our family. We sat down to eat. This is a Fuzhounese meat wonton, or as we call it, yan. It is very similar to another Fuzhounese dish called biannu. We also had fried pork liver, oyster cake, another dish that my grandma made a lot for us growing up, tender pork soup, and lychee pork.
So good!
So in Fuzhounese, this dish is called demengung, and it is actually something that my grandma made for us a lot growing up.
Porcelain.
Is it fresh? What do you think?
Oh my gosh. Fresh flavors, seafood. You don't even need seasoning. Not like stinky at all. It's just so fresh and so...
One of the most iconic Fuzhounese dishes is fish balls, and what makes these unique is that they are stuffed with meat. My parents and grandparents were raising me. They actually raised me with Fuzhounese, which is a dialect that originated from Fuzhou. It is completely different from Mandarin or Cantonese. My family raised me with Fuzhounese as my main language. And because of that, I can still speak it conversationally, whereas a lot of people my age and younger in Fuzhou don't speak the language anymore. I'm sharing this because I really want to preserve the Fuzhounese language. I believe it's a really beautiful language that deserves to be given recognition in addition to other dialects. Before we went off exploring, we had to try out this tea spot, and they put, I think, liquid nitrogen in the very top and pour some water in it to give this cool effect. So the first place that we visited was called 3 Lanes and 7 Alleys, or Sanfan Shang, and it is in the center of Fuzhou City. It is actually a preserved architectural complex dating back to the Ming and Qing dynasty. So it is over 100 years old, and it commemorates Fuzhou's ancient celebrities through these really old buildings. This area is paved with slab stones, decorated with white walls, gray tiles, and even seashells on the walls. There's lots of cute gift shops in the area, and it's a really great spot for, you know, tourists and locals alike to be surrounded by history. You know, there were a lot of really famous, prominent figures in Chinese history who resided in this area, so it was really cool to be able to come here. So as you saw in our Hangzhou video, we went to Hangzhou's Westlake, but did you know that Fuzhou also has a Westlake? So this is Fuzhou Shihu, and this lake is such a beautiful spot and also a place that I went with my family back in 2006. So I don't really remember too much from the time I was here when I was a kid, but returning as an adult, I definitely appreciate the natural beauty of Westlake, from the water and the trees to all the gorgeous like pagodas and boats. These boats actually remind me of the ones in Hangzhou as well. We just arrived at our dinner spot.
Wow.
Oh, have you ever seen a table this big? Wow. You've never seen a table this big, right? What are your thoughts right now?
I don't even have that many relatives.
We didn't record our reaction to eating our dinner because it was really loud in the whole room, but we had all sorts of seafood, from snails, abalone, crab, fish, to other dishes like duck and soup and a really nice pumpkin dessert too. What did you think of dinner?
Great seafood.
It's like every dish. So we are now at Shang, and this is a photo of this location during the daytime, but we are here at night. So this is Gutian Guild Hall, and it used to be an accommodation, storage, transportation, and communication facility, which was built by merchants in 1915. And here we have a beautiful wish tree, and on the tree people put their wishes on ribbons, and we even saw somebody wishing like, oh, I want to get rich, which is a really common like Chinese wish people make. And so now we are entering the other parts of this historical and cultural district, and we see a lot of, you know, ancient statues along the way and beautiful historical architecture. This area used to be a huge commercial center and shipping terminal in Fuzhou in the early years, and is known as a great area to taste traditional gourmet food in Fuzhou. So definitely come to this area for a visit. You'll feel like you've walked into, you know, one of the old dynasties in China, and the scenery is gorgeous. So Dehua County in Fujian is known as a distinguished production of area of porcelain, and this museum is actually a porcelain museum that shows a bunch of beautiful handcrafted porcelain pieces. Ever since the Han and Tang dynasties, porcelain has been exported from China to places all around the world, and so it is really influential, and it is really a form of art. As you can see, porcelain can be molded into these beautiful pieces. Of course, we couldn't end the night without having some xiaochi, small bites, in Fuzhou, and we stumbled on this restaurant that is called Deaf Uncle. I know, that's a little strange, but why that name? Well, the original owner of this restaurant, his name is Ling Guifang. He started this restaurant in 1906 after selling tangyuan in the alleys of this area. When he was younger, he had no problems with his hearing, but then one day he got a fever and became deaf after taking some really strong antibiotics. And so he has a very inspiring story, and beyond that, we just wanted to try some of these local Fuzhou specialties, so let's see how it is. How is it?
Really good. I think it has oyster sauce in it.
Oyster sauce.
So for this clip, we don't have the audio because I was covering the mic when filming, but Yongjian said that this was his favorite snack in Japan, so he definitely approves. All right, so I'm gonna try this glutinous rice, kind of like mochi, and my grandma makes this, so I'm gonna compare it to my grandma's.
Very good.
Don't tell anyone I said this. It's better than my grandma's. Once again, I was covering the microphone so you can't hear him, but Yongjian said that he felt like the peanuts were so soft and they just melt on your tongue.
Oh my god. The peanuts literally melt on your tongue.
How's that possible?
I'm going to try this tangyuan. I understand why this place is famous now.
Yeah, it's
this
actually
is the
good.
best tangyuan I've ever had in my life.
It didn't go downhill because it's famous.
Yeah.
So good.
It's like a super famous place. Everything about being in this city is just so magical. Like, I never imagined you would find like architecture that just reminds you of like Europe, and I'm so amazed by the architecture and the nightlife here. People are just like out and about so late at night, and it's so amazing. What do you think of this city?
I love it.
You love it? What do you love about it?
It's so calm.
Yeah.
It's just so lively at night, but it's not like crowded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Now we are walking in Yantaishan, and this is a historical neighborhood that has European style buildings because at one point there were American and British and Dutch who lived here after China lost the Opium War. So in the late 19th century, this neighborhood had many consulates, churches, and banks after the city of Fuzhou opened to foreign trade. The neighborhood, however, became a run-down area in the new century after many historical buildings were reclaimed for residential use. In 2018, the city of Fuzhou launched a project to revamp this area, and many old structures were renovated without changing their original appearances, while their interiors became available for commercial and tourist use. So now when you come to this area, it has a lot of trendy coffee shops, restaurants, stores, performance areas. And speaking of performances, catch this one that we saw that night. Thank you so much for watching our first Fuzhou video featuring the city of Fuzhou. Now, the next video will be very exciting, and it is going to be us visiting my family's village in the rural outskirts of Fuzhou. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you again soon.